The next poem I'm going to share with you really kind of came from the second generation of my family, which is from my daughter when I became a father. And I was looking at things, and I was going through the experiences of my sister and my brother, who was my close friend, and I was thinking to myself, man, like now I've got a daughter, and I'm like, damn, like the conversations and all this kind of stuff, like where do we start? But then one thing I was seeing was a particular narrative with young black fathers, and or just black fathers in general. And you hear it, your dad must be absent, da da da. And I knew that I didn't have a father in my life, but it wasn't because my father chose to be absent. It was because he passed away at a young age, you see. And I wanted to, with this particular poem, I wanted to kind of offer a different narrative and offer a different conversations to be had regards to black fathers and just young black fathers in particular as well. So this one's called Loaded Handgun. The true narrative of our story is stored in a historic self-storage which we scourge through in an attempt to reform our misconstrued identities. See, I grew up in social housing, where our local amenity was a grass pitch, and your reputation was dependent on what your dad did. I never had one. They say a father's black child is a loaded handgun, waiting to exude from the chamber of this vacuum, but my father wasn't absent by choice. The grave remembered his name, so we aimed to memorize in stone. It was difficult, like a line in your eyes was analyzing your wrongs, but life shifts gears unexpectedly, so what can you do but ride along? I've experienced firsthand the plight of not having a father at home, but I've also understood that most of our fathers never chose to be absent. Statistics do not always match the reality, for they never seem to account for what families have amassed in calamity. Black fathers were never made at home due to police brutality. Black fathers encumbered by stereotypes and senile similarities, negative imageries, black masculinity propagated improperly in mass media for profit, hence the self-fulfilling prophecies. And see, I don't deny that some of our fathers never took responsibility, but this shouldn't be the archetype which precedes all black men. A barrier blinding and impeding the black lens, because honestly, these stereotypes belong to every racial group. And just because you've encountered a few bad apples, does that mean you disregard the fruit? I was told to know somebody, dig through to the root, to understand the way the branches grew. You can't judge a tree by its fallen leaves without first understanding the soil it was planted into. But we would much rather focus on the consequences than the causes, and then employ an overplayed narrative to wrap around black corpses. Broken families are the ramifications of what people are currently rallying against. Systemic oppression, implicit racializations, defunded youth organizations, so the streets, the youths roam, and not in the Italian sense. And I was the same till I met some valiant black men who saw that I didn't have a father, so they stepped in. All from different walks of life, but had the same mind to ensure I became what I was destined. These men showed me that I couldn't be passive nor porous. When you're black and amongst the poorest, the battle is different. When grandma tells you stories about colonial rule and how she questioned their actual existence, you're grateful things have changed, but mindful the change that still needs to occur. And Nora said only God can save us. And after certain situations, I was on my knees with her. Because some people don't return home to their daughters. Now I've got one too, and a son. And I don't want them to be those loaded handguns. But you see, even a gun is not as dangerous as the hand it places its weight on. Thank you.